College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. For the stay, we're in San Diego for this Mountain West matchup between the Utah State Aggies and the San Diego State Aztecs. Hi, everybody. Welcome into our broadcast booth, along with Petros Papadakis. I'm Guy Haberman. It was less than 2 years ago that these two teams were meeting in the Mountain West Championship game. Now, as we begin November, they're both 3-5, just trying to get bowl eligible. So the winner of this game is going to feel like they might have saved their season.
Both teams really need it. Both teams have to make a push in November to feel like they had a successful season. And both these teams under these coaches have an identity, and they're used to being a lot more successful. So this will be a desperate endeavor for both of these teams here. Who knows what's going to happen? It's power against finesse.
A lot of pressure on the San Diego State quarterback, Jalen Maiden, today. They lost 2 weeks ago to Nevada 6-0. They got shut out. They've had to sit with that on their bye. So what do they need him to do well to bounce back?
Well, what they need him to do is play with a little bit more confidence. Moose Maiden is a former safety. Great story last year. Started playing quarterback, gave the team a spark, got into a bowl game. He's a great runner. Throwing, he's pretty good, but not as polished as they need him to be at this point for as long as he's been starting. He's got to find some more confidence and get it going. This freshman is a guy who plays with a lot of confidence. McKay Hillstead starting instead of Cooper Laga, who's just not making the plays for Coach Anderson's offense that they need him to. They think Hillstead, who's a true freshman and a big prospect, can make quicker decisions and get this offense into the rhythm it needs to be in so they can have success. Real contrasting styles today, guys.
Two programs used to winning. One of them's going to bounce back tonight. Got to have it. It's Utah State and San Diego State, and it's coming up next. There is Marshall Falk, the honor warrior for the game tonight, the Pro Football and College Football Hall of Famer, to get things started here from San Diego. Blake Anderson in his third year here at Utah State. We got two coaches. We mentioned they're used to winning. Both of them have records over 500 in league play, but you can see struggling on the road so far this year at 1-3. There's Brady Hulk on the other side. Second stint, of course. 6th year overall at the helm for the Aztecs. They've lost 5 of their last 6, 2 years removed from that appearance in the Mountain West title game. Tonight's Stay in the Game is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. For the stay.
Well, it's Fleet Week, so Utah State's got to hold fast, play fast, believe in your system. That's what's gotten them into a position to play for conference championships in the past. They got to keep doing that. San Diego State, take the physical challenge like old Double Dare. They're a physical team. They want to beat people up front. Utah State seems susceptible to that. We'll see how it plays out.
San Diego State won the toss and deferred, and so the Aggies will start with the ball, and Terrell Vaughn will let that one go. We showed you 2 quarterbacks in the open. By the time the day's done, we may see 4. We'll see how these two offenses move it, but it's going to be McKay Hillstead, the true freshman from Utah, making his 4th career start today.
Just a young guy, pretty big recruit for Utah State, and a guy who's got an ability to make quick decisions. And that is really what this offense is based on. They want to get into a first down position so they can start that lawnmower and play fast. And Coach Anderson said Hillstead could be that guy if he's not playing like a freshman. But he is a freshman.
Well, he's got to maintain the tempo. This is one of the fastest tempo offenses in the country. Hillstead to throw, and it's incomplete, looking for the tight end, Brock Lane. Just over 20 seconds between possessions, between snaps for Utah State. And you can see how quickly. It's Devon Booth with the carry on second down, and he gets swallowed up after a very short gain. Tupu Alualu among the defenders there. I mean, you talk about the fact that San Diego State got shut out, but they only gave up 6 points to Nevada 2 weeks ago.
They're a defensive football team, and they want to play field position. That really limits the amount of mistakes you can make. Here they forced the 3rd and long for the young quarterback.
Hillstead to one of his playmakers, Terrell Vaughn, and he'll pick up about 4 out to the 30-yard line. But that's a quick 3 and out for the Aggies.
Very active start for the Aztecs. Rallying to the football. They had a nice little opportunity to get it to Brock Lane on first down to kind of manage that series of downs, but that ball was errant, and now they're punting.
Ryan Marks is the punter. He'll also handle the kicking duties today for Utah State. Mekhi Shaw is the returner back deep. And this is a good punt. It'll send Shaw back and then check up at the 10-yard line. And the Aztecs will start at the 20 after a 50-yard boot off the foot of Marks. And we'll get our first look at this San Diego State offense today. There's the man they call Moose, as you mentioned, because he's a big man.
Yeah, he's big. 6'3", 220 pounds. And when he leans in and runs in the open field, he really looks great. I mean, a la Vince Young when he starts to open up that stride. But dropping back, throwing the ball, running the offense in all the different situations, these things have been a bit of a challenge, or up and down probably is better to say. We'll see if he can get back on the upswing today.
The speedy Keenan Christian is the back, and Maiden with good protection against three-man pressure throws through the hands of Breon Penny, incomplete.
Penny's a guy they want to get down the field a lot more. Rashad Penny's little brother, of course, the great running back at San Diego State. He runs a crossing route and could have come down with that ball, hit him in both hands. Maiden would want to bring it down just a little bit. But probably a catchable ball for Penny that would have started things out in a very positive way for this struggling Aztec offense.
Maiden fumbles the fake handoff, and he falls on top of it, but it's going to be a loss of 5 yards. And this was something that Brady Hoke told us a big key was going to be protecting the football for Maiden.
Yeah, ball handling, and it's a RPO look. It was a fake to Kristen, and Maiden was going to pull it and throw it out to the flat, and just could not get all the logistics with the ball done. And now 3rd and 15 is not where the Aztecs want to be. Utah State's got a lot better chance in these long yardage situations than the Aztecs do perennially.
They have really struggled on 3rd down all year long. Now this is very long. Maiden on the move, and that is caught for a first down, and they convert. Breon Penny, who had the first throw of the game go through his hands, makes a difficult catch.
Great effort by Penny there, trying to dig and get back to this ball. Let's see if we can tell if he was able to catch it. He comes back to it, and it looks like he was able to cradle it between those forearms. Looks pretty good, and they're lining up.
So they convert the 3rd and 15. Maiden, the lefty, on the move, and he throws complete to the tight end Mark Redmond, and that's very near the chains, and it actually is passed for another first.
Mark Redmond, a huge player for the Aztecs, and he hasn't ever quite fulfilled that potential. 6'6", 255 out of Corona Del Mar High School in Orange County. Originally a Washington recruit. He played with Garbers, who's now starting for UCLA.
And we'll be starting in just a few hours here after our game on FS1. Another first, and there's Mekhi Shaw. And this San Diego State offense looks like it has a lot more rhythm than it did 2 weeks ago.
Well, clearly, Ryan Lindley, the offensive coordinator, has wanted to get Maiden into a rhythm early in this game, a lot like we were talking about with the Aggies, and he's had some good throws. He missed Penny, or was just a little high for Penny early. Threw the ball, Penny made a play and got him back to the ball. Redmond, a good play. And now he's in a bit of a rhythm, finding Shaw. Mekhi Shaw, the former walk-on, really their best receiver this year.
This is Lucky Sutton, who puts his head down and gets out to midfield. And that'll bring up 3rd down at about 2.
Local kid, Lucky Sutton, out of Cathedral Catholic High School, just like Tyler Gaffney, the great running back from Stanford over the years. And he's kind of come on. He was hurt early, but he's been impressive. They still play Kristen. We'll see how much we see Jalen Armstead, who's also been impactful from the backfield this year.
But Sutton, to your point, has taken some of his carries, and he had a career-high 12 attempts in that Nevada game.
Yeah, they don't have the every down back. Marshall Falk is not suiting up in this one, guy. Although he looked good to start the game.
He did with the spear. Here's Sutton, and he gets stopped immediately. Ike Larson, the safety, coming up to make the tackle.
Ike Larson's one of the most exciting players on this Utah State team, and he's young, just a sophomore, very high ceiling. You're going to see him creep into the backfield, beat the block of Penny, and then just get right to the body of Sutton and finish that play, forcing a punt for the Aztecs after a pretty promising start to that drive.
Yeah, a couple of first downs, but it stalls. And so Jack Browning, who does all the kicking for San Diego State, sends it to Micah Davis, and he'll fair catch it just about the 11-yard line. Second opportunity for this Aggies offense when we return. Each team's had a possession, no score here on a sunny Saturday afternoon in San Diego. San Diego State owned this rivalry for a stretch. At one point, they'd won 10 in a row, but the Aggies have won 2 of the last 3. Blake Anderson is calling plays for Utah State again this year, as his offense with its second possession starting all the way back at the 10-yard line after the punt. McKay Hillstead, a quick throw on first down, and that's complete out to Brock Lane, and he fights his way for extra yardage and gets out across the 15.
Lane has really been there for the young quarterback, and you can see that he's there right now. They get the ball to him quick. Royals is trying to lead block, and Lane makes a cut there, and then a second cut to the outside. And here come the Aggies.
Robert Briggs powers forward for a first down.
They run 3 backs. Devon Booth, Robert Briggs Jr., and Rasul Faison. Briggs is the guy who's kind of fallen third, but a nice run there, diving forward for the first down.
Now Hillstead on the move. Evades the first defender. Bearing down on him was Deshaun McEwen, and then Garrett Fountain came and finished him off.
Good job by McEwen. As you can see, Hillstead is really kind of throttled down and looked downfield, and McEwen, the field warrior, really just forces the issue, makes him pull it.
Now second down, pitch to Briggs, and he's able to weave his way back out to about the 27-yard line, make this third down and manageable.
Just a flip play, and then sets up this third and medium situation. And Utah State, they can get off the field fast. They can stay on the field with rhythm.
4-man pressure, long throw, and it's caught. Hanging on to it with his fingertips was Jalen Royals, but it looks like he's just shy after the nice tackle from Noah Tumblin.
Well, we'll see how close he is. Blake Anderson, well, they're lining up to go right now. Fourth down and short.
And they do go for it. And it's Briggs. And he gets stuffed at the 30-yard line. Garrett Fountain, the team captain, steps up, and the Aztecs will take over on the doorstep of the red zone.
Well, you get caught in these situations when you play a rhythm offense and you're very close. This is fourth and very close. San Diego State, Garrett Fountain, the captain, who plays so fast out of Turlock, California, comes down the line and denies the back, turning him over on downs. But a nice, I thought, confident throw on third down that almost got him there from Hillstead. The quick decisions that Blake Anderson wants him to make. But here you are in a terrible situation, giving the ball back to the Aztecs.
And what a gift to a team that's been struggling offensively. Maiden pitches to Keenan Christian, trying to get to the outside, but there's Switzer, who's everywhere, and he makes that stop, his second tackle of the game.
Nice job by Switzer getting out there and really containing from his will linebacker position against one of the fastest players in college football. Keenan Christian has elite track speed. Hasn't seen it open up as much as I think he would have in his college career thus far. Not as many long runs that really kind of accentuate that speed. But he's been a leader, and he's a tough guy, and he is their captain and starter at the tailback position.
Cam Davis now is coming to the game at running back. Second and 15. Maiden trying to set it up for him. White shirts all around, and he gets tackled back at the 45. A flag comes in as well. Paul Fitzgerald was not tricked. And we'll get to meet Cal McNeil, our referee, for the first time today.
They're trying to set up a screen to the other side, but just so much penetration by Utah State, and they got after Davis as well, who's kind of like their Swiss Army knife. All right. No flag on the play. He picks it up. I'm good at hearing those broken mics.
Yeah, that was impressive. 10-yard loss on the tackle. Now it's third down. Remember, this was after Utah State went for it on 4th and short. 25 yards to pick it up, and San Diego State will call a timeout before this 3rd and 25 comes up. We'll see what the Aztecs have cooking next.
Timeout on the field.
Third and 25 coming up after the timeout. So Petros, what do? Do you try to get it all or try to set up a field goal?
I mean, draw a screen, something where you can get a better look at how close you are. Obviously, they have a great kicker in Browning, the captain. But Utah State really kind of digging themselves out of a hole that they dug for themselves, going for it on 4th down and giving the Aztecs such a forward field position. But Coach Anderson with a little bit of faith in his defense, and they've come through thus far. San Diego State going backwards so far.
Caden Christian back in the game at running back. A flag
Free
down.
play.
Maiden under pressure. He gets rid of it at the last moment, but it falls incomplete. Hale Matuapuaka brought the pressure on the Aztec quarterback, but we'll check on this flag.
Yeah, Maiden didn't see Fitzgerald in the neutral zone, and he didn't see the flag. And that's the call right there. Maiden should have just dropped back, and the second that his foot hit the ground, throw it downfield and see if you can make something happen. But Paul Fitzgerald there, caught in the neutral zone, and right now Maiden's got to try to get that ball down the field. Instead, he almost takes a sack. Doesn't matter anyway. 3rd and 20.
Christian remains in the game beside Maiden at running back. Play clock is getting low. 3-man rush. And he gives it to Christian, who gets a block. He's up the middle of the field, and he gets down to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 15 yards. It'll bring up 4th and 5.
Ulugalo Maseuli, the great center, with a beautiful block, number 63, right there on Tafisi, that sprung Kristen. Really well-developed screen, and it gets San Diego State in a much better position for a field goal. Well called and well executed there by the Aztecs.
43 yards for Browning, who's got a big leg. To try and get the Aztecs on the board. Plenty of leg, and he pulled it left. He missed 2 weeks ago from 34, and he misses here an opportunity to break the seal. And so the gamble pays off for Blake Anderson's defense. College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. San Diego State missed a 42-yard field goal attempt, and so the Aggies take over at their own 25-yard line. 3rd possession of the game, and it's Rasul Faison's first carry, and he picks up a good chunk, about 7 or 8 yards on 1st down before Cody Moon finally brings him down.
And Cody Moon's a well-running linebacker transfer from New Mexico that ends up getting to Faison, but a really well-designed play around the end there. Take some pressure off of Hillstead and get Faison going early.
And back to Faison, and he breaks through the first tackle, does well just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Brady Nasser was the man that hit him first, and that'll move the chains.
And that's what they need. They need that first down to start to get that offense in a rhythm. Let's see if the freshman can do it. That's the key to what Blake Anderson's team does.
A really talented receiver group. Vaughn and Royals and Micah Davis They enter play today the #1 scoring offense in the Mountain West, averaging over 35 a game. Back to the ground for Faison and about 3 more.
Good job getting behind Cole Moats. They pulled a couple of offensive linemen, and Faison was able to get behind the blockers and squirt through there. That's a good play on first down for the Aggies.
Just like the Aztecs coming off a loss and a bye. They lost to San Jose State 2 weeks ago, did Utah State. Hillstead steps up, he slides down, and that hit came in as he was sliding from Cody Moon.
Yeah, Cody came right over the top of him there. But I like Hillstead's decision-making, Guy. He's making decisions quickly, and that's what he needs to do to stay on the field in this style of offense. Protect this offensive line that has not been playing up to its optimal level. Hillstead making quick decisions really helps those guys out.
And without their starting center, Pule Alo today, although Maui is the starter today, snapping the ball, and that ball is complete. Caught on the sideline for a first down. Into traffic went Micah Davis on that sideline to haul it in.
The junior out of Atlanta, able to really stretch out and get that ball. Throwing out to the sidelines has not been a problem. Hillstead showing some pretty good arm strength. Not that big of a guy, only listed at 5'10", 185.
4th career start for the true freshman, taking his time, checks it down. There's Vaughn, and the Aggies break into Aztec territory for the first time today.
Good physical tackle by Josh Hunter at the point of attack, but that doesn't stop Utah State from getting a move on. This is the best they've looked so far this afternoon.
Hillstead will give again to Faison, and he'll get a couple.
We'll see how fast they try to get this 3rd and short. Remember, they had some trouble in short yardage before. Maybe they only need a little bit of it because they're going to go for it again. Haven't shown that much respect for the San Diego State offense thus far. Have the Aggies.
Plenty of time on the play clock for Hillstead after looking at the sideline. Defense showing pressure. Bring 5. Quick throw to Vaughn. And he gets stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. J.D. Coffey, the transfer, is getting the start today at that Aztec position, was the first man in.
Well, that's what Kurt Maddox wants, right? Pressure on the quarterback and then a hit right away when the ball is caught by Terrell Vaughn. Playing tough defense. Really rallying to the football and playing with a purpose are the Aztecs early.
So Ryan Marks on the punt for the second time with Mekhi Shaw standing back at his 10-yard line. And this is a line drive towards the corner. And Shaw's going to pick it up off the bounce, and he'll get about 4 yards out of that. And the Aztecs will start at the 13-yard line in a scoreless game. Coming up next here on FS1, it's a battle in the Pac-12. Number 19, UCLA, and their relentless defense take on Arizona. Keep it locked on FS1 for a great nightcap for college football. We were talking to Ryan Lindley, the San Diego State offensive coordinator. He said, Petros, he thinks UCLA's defensive line is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, they came down here and played very well. They have the Murphys and Latu, and Arizona, what Jed Fish has done with Noah Fafita has been pretty, I don't want to say miraculous, but one heck of a recovery job in Tucson. That's going to be a heck of a game tonight in the old Pueblo.
Lucky Sutton on the first play of this possession. Puts his shoulder pads into everybody in the vicinity before Anthony Switzer finally brings him down after a pickup of 6.
Well, that's what Brady Hoke and Ryan Lindley would like right now. Get Hillstead on the sideline, let his arm cool off, let him watch for a while, lose some confidence, while San Diego State grinds out a long, arduous drive. And will they be able to do it? Can they stay on the field with Jalen Maiden and find some offense?
Maiden back to Sutton, and Sutton spins his way out to the 20. A hard-earned 2-yard pickup. Anthony Switzer's been everywhere on defense.
Yeah, he spun out of the first tackle, and Switzer hit him right in the chin. That sets up a 3rd down situation where San Diego State's going to really try to stay on the field They're in that 2 yards. They should be able to get a push with this offensive line against this lighter Utah State front and get this first down and try to do what they're good at, which is running clock and being physical.
They bring the big back Leo Kemp into the game. He's off the right shoulder of Maiden. This formation screams physical, and it's Sutton right up the gut. Lucky Sutton at the 25, and he finally gets tracked down by Avante Dickerson. And finally, the explosive play the Aztecs have been dying for. 64 yards.
A real full house backfield, and they don't shift out of it. The blockers go over to the left. Sutton takes a little bit of a tighter course. Nice job by Dickerson trying to tackle the ball, but what great ball security and awareness in the moment, being run down by Lucky Sutton. The explosive play that they needed, Guy. You said it right there, and a really well-designed short yardage play call by Ryan Lindley there.
Now Keaton Christian to back into the game along with Cam Davis. And we've got whistles before the snap.
Timeout, San Diego. Their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, you know that Brady Hoke dreams of formations with 11 guys between the hashes.
Well, usually you see people line up with 3 backs in the backfield. They're going to shift out of that. This time just some over pursuit because both of the blockers went pretty wide. And I think some of the defenders, especially the linebackers, went over a little bit wide, and Sutton was able to make a cutback and take it really right up the center of the field, almost up the hash. And almost take it to the house. Didn't quite have the speed to outrun the cornerback Dickerson, the transfer from Oregon. But a great job with ball security at the end of the run.
Now the question is, can they punch it in? 2 weeks ago against Nevada, they were in Nevada territory 7 times, but came away with no points.
As the field gets smaller, it becomes more difficult, and that's why the physicality, staying out there on the field as the offense, leaning on this defensive front, means more and more as the game goes on. Same 2 backs in the backfield here, Guy.
Christian and Cam Davis. Maiden, first throw of this possession. Looking, checks it down. There's Shaw. And Mekhi Shaw's going to pick up a healthy chunk. MJ Tafisi, the leading tackler in the league, able to make the tackle there.
I thought he had Kristen open early if he had gotten him the ball. Instead, does a good job getting it to the shorter route after some improvisation. Maiden looks confident.
Things are happening for the Aztecs on offense now. That's the end of the first quarter. A second down in the red zone is coming up next. Scoreless as we start the second quarter. Tonight's team comparison is sponsored by Credible, the MVP of loan shopping. Check rates on credible.com today.
Well, a lot of those rushing yards came on that big run from Sutton. Passing yards, Maiden had a couple moments where he got into a rhythm there. Third downs, Utah State's got to find a way to stay on the field more. And time of possession, obviously very important for the Aztecs.
Second quarter starts with a second down and 4. And there's Cam Davis trying to cut it back. And he burrows his way down inside the 10. And it'll be third down and short.
Will be interesting to see if they stick with the run game, maybe even some quarterback run, or if they let Jalen Maiden, who's shown some confidence throwing the ball, take a shot at the end zone here on this drive. I think they're going to try to get a push and run it and then finish it that way.
Nick Gardenera and Leo Kemp, the 2 big backs who were in on that big Lucky Sutton breakaway run. This is the same formation and the same personnel.
Yeah, it's a pistol, but with 2 fullbacks, making it a reverse bone pistol.
Third down and 2. Aztecs have already missed a field goal in this game. Maiden looking, end zone, caught, touchdown Mark Redmond. A long time coming.
Well, it looks like a botched play because Sutton goes to the wrong side to pick up a block. but it doesn't matter. Redmond right down the field, down the seam. Maiden sees him, really well designed. Two great short yardage plays out of that full house backfield. Really well designed by Ryan Lindley and his staff. And San Diego State with a good feeling. Finally a touchdown.
And Browning just bangs through the point after. The drought is over. 5 straight quarters without a score. Mark Redmond, a drought of his own. He hadn't scored since the first week of the season. And San Diego State finally breaks through. Aztecs on top. San Diego State with the touchdown to start this second quarter. 6-play, 88-yard drive. The Lucky Sutton 62-yard run set it up, and Mark Redmond finished it off.
And it all came out of that formation with the two fullbacks in the game, Gardenera and Kemp.
So two polar opposite offenses then if they're running that. Two fullbacks versus spread. How'd they get it done?
Well, Sutton's going to go on the wrong side here, but it doesn't matter. Redmond's going to come that wide open down the field. And watch the defense just freeze when Sutton moves up. Even though the handoff was going to the other side, Utah State was just so ready to protect the line of scrimmage that Redmond, a very talented tight end, especially in the red zone, 6'6", 255 with some really great tools, can be a huge weapon if this offense was really able to find a little bit more of an identity down in and down out. But a very good drive and very promising for Brady Hoke's guy.
Meanwhile, for the Aggies, trying to get something going. One of the top offenses in the nation. Long throw and out of bounds, looking for Micah Davis out of the hand of McKay Hillstead.
And when things don't work out on first down as far as positive yardage goes, a play like that, a tackle for loss or an incomplete pass, it really kind of stops the rhythm of the Aggies, and then they have to get it started again. Very difficult, tall order for a freshman quarterback.
Here's Booth. Boy, and he gets stuck and pushed backwards. This is an Aztec defense known for physicality. New Zealand Williams, the linebacker, was right in the grill of the running back Booth.
Yeah, former safety, and you could just see him just kind of missile in there and drive his feet through Booth, who had stopped his feet. And that's what created the look of such a push backwards.
3rd and 11. Hillstead, good protection. Now he steps up, gonna make a break for it, and he's got the first down. A big conversion for the freshman quarterback.
It looked like they had kept Zyrus Fiaseu in to be the spy on Hillstead, to not let him trickle out, but Fiaseu got a little bit out of position. Hillstead exploited it.
Long throw to the sideline to Royals. And that's a 5-yard pickup after the 17-yard run to convert.
Well, you see, you have to have that quarterback find a way to make some kind of big positive play individually when the offense breaks down. That time, Hillstead makes a quick decision, takes off, and Utah State looking pretty good here.
Four-man pressure. Hillstead goes up top to Royals again. What a snag. A late flag comes in the backfield as the quarterback Hillstead's collecting himself. Let's see.
It looked like Brady Nasser hit him late. Chris Johnson versus Royals was the matchup that Hillstead wanted. He saw that man coverage, identified it, and made the throw really well.
The play, personal foul, number 77 offense. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
That's Ralph Frias, the tackle.
Yeah, it looked to be a late hit kind of situation with Nasser running around back there and Hillstead getting up late. But instead, some aggression from the O-line.
Second down. Or pardon me, first down. The result of the play counts. Now a trick play. It's Royals. He wants to throw. We'll check it down to Hillstead, who was open, and it ends up in the turf.
Really well done by Ratcliffe, Marcus Ratcliffe, coming over the top. They wanted to get the ball to Brock Lane, the tight end. You're going to see him coming across the field, but Ratcliffe stays with him. Hillstead was open, but they would have rallied to tackle him, and he would have taken some pretty intense hits there on a check down type of route. I don't mind the play call there from Blake Anderson trying to get something going. Penalty really hurt them yardage wise. They're in a position probably shouldn't be in.
Now here's Hillstead juking in the backfield, and he gets ripped down after a pickup of 2. Brady Nasser, one of the young edge freshmen that has really played well for Kurt Maddox's defense.
Yeah, he did a good job there, and a good recovery from Tupu Alualu. Nasser there from Pleasanton, California, been playing a lot more. Just a freshman. This is a young defense that lost their 2 leaders and starting safeties to transfers. Still trying to kind of find that identity that makes San Diego State so great defensively late in the year.
Hillstead on 3rd down. Here comes Heat. He steps up and he throws complete to Lane. And the ball's out and ends up out of bounds. And it'll come back to the spot. Barfield punched it out. This is one of the best defenses at creating that. And Lane ends up on the sideline collecting his thoughts.
Yeah, you see Brock Lane a little upset.
Out of bounds, return to the spot of the fumble. First down.
Really nifty move by Barfield, swinging his body around there, you see, to get to the ball under the right arm of Lane. Lucky break for the Aggies.
Now here's Devon Booth, and he's through a hole and down inside the 30-yard line with a pickup of 16 yards. Aggies going at warp speed now. It's Booth again. It's Booth spinning through a hole, looking to the sideline, and he'll get pushed out inside the 15.
You know, it's not like San Diego State doesn't know how to fill these gaps. You're going to see the guard pull around, tight end pull around, but it's just the rhythm and how quickly they throw it at you. It's hard to recover yourself.
Here's Booth again, bouncing it, stays on his feet, and gets ripped down at about the 7. And they are churning in the run game now.
Block on the edge by Sturzer is what got Booth out there, creating on the edge. A substitution now, so San Diego State has some time to get some different guys in. They're huffing and puffing with this pace from the Aggies. Nice answer of a drive by Hillstead thus far.
Briggs has come into the game in the backfield. Hillstead on the move, and Lane, who had the big first down catch a moment ago, can't bring it in.
Yeah, they run kind of a flow quarterback play, a play a lot of people like around the red zone, although it sort of cuts the field in half. You see Coach react to it. You run that to the left side. Most offenses are right-handed, so it's supposed to catch the defense off guard.
Royals and Vaughn stacked at the bottom of the screen. The 2 big playmakers on this offense. Hillstead looking that way to the middle for Lane, and that was well covered by Marcus Ratcliffe, another one of the promising freshmen on this defense, and it's now 4th down.
Yeah, they like Ratcliffe, and I can see why. He's played a lot. He's got great size, just a freshman. As you mentioned, 6'3", and he's right on top of Lane and physically gives him a little bit of nudge as the ball arrives, forcing this field goal. Good recovery by San Diego State.
Elliot Nimrod, the kicker, suspended for today's game for a violation of team rules, so William Testa is going to attempt just his 2nd of the season. This from 24 yards out. And he has got it. So the Aztecs defense bends but doesn't break, and Utah State is on the board.
Timeout on the field.
College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. Field goal a moment ago for Blake Anderson's offense. If you had San Diego State as the faster pace offense today.
Well, it was the long run, guy. they're still a knockdown, drag-out, physical offensive team. They just had a long run from Lucky Sutton. What are you going to do?
They spent a lot of time working on physicality.
Full house backfield.
How about that? We've seen it twice today, and it's worked both times.
Thought it was Air Force versus Army earlier. What a blow for the Mountain West.
That ball goes out of bounds, and so a penalty on the kickoff from Ryan Marks. Good awareness from Sheldon Canley to let it go out, and so good starting field position for the Aztecs out to the 35. And here comes Jalen Maiden, who's having a much better game so far today than he did a couple weeks ago. Good bounce back.
And that's what they had to have. I mean, they just absolutely had to have it. This is a young man who's maybe lost some confidence. The team has confidence in him. He's a beloved player on this team, but transfer from Mississippi State, quarterback there, came here to play quarterback. They moved him to safety, moved him back last year, and caught a spark with him.
Yeah. He was honorable mention all-league last year for the work he did after he took over at quarterback in early October of last season. Keenan Christian trying to squeeze through, but there's MJ Tafisi, who averages over 10 tackles a game. 8th in the nation is number 2 in white Tafisi. A monster for this Aggie defense.
Yeah, he's been great, and he wants to be right. He's been a real tough leader for Blake Anderson's D and kind of set a tone. Him and Ike Larson, Tafisi, an older player, Ike Larson just a sophomore. Those guys have been the two real stalwarts for the Aggies in a year that they just have to tackle better. That was a good tackle.
Cam Davis, the back, is lined up at the bottom as this is high and through the hands of Balin Brooks. Falls harmlessly, and it's now 3rd down.
They really like Balin Brooks, very talented guy. Trying to get him the ball in space on kind of a middle screen look, or at least a tunnel screen, and just high from Maiden, and that's not the first high ball we've seen from him.
Aztecs 3 of 5 on 3rd down today. Cam Davis remains in the game at running back. Maiden flush from the pocket. Davis with an acrobatic catch. The ball comes out, but it's ruled an incomplete.
Looking on the it's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
That was almost a special catch from Davis. Would have been well shy of the 1st down.
So you see, after San Diego State has the great drive and the great play calls, they come back and looks like a 3 and out. Ball was off. Even if Davis was able to haul it in, it looked like Utah State was rallying to make that play. And now the Aggies with another chance, and Hillstead's going to come out feeling pretty good after that last field goal drive.
Jack Browning to punt away to Micah Davis. And he gets his leg into this one. Sends Davis way back, but bounds into the end zone. So Utah State, who just got a rhythm on offense on its last possession, coming back out, down 7-3.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, the Bedlam series as we know it ends with a bang, while number 2 Georgia had its hands full with Missouri again. And Dabo sends a message against Notre Dame. Hey, guy in Petros, Dabo said you better buy stock in Clemson right now while it's low. See you at the half.
All right, Mike. We'll look forward to halftime and to Dabo's coaches show this week.
Well, there's a reason I don't take calls on the radio.
Take a look at our game summary with 9:19 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Utah State just with the field goal on its last possession, and they start here getting the ball to Jalen Royals, but a gain of 1 yard. Josh Hunter, the safety, coming up to make the play. Another freshman. It feels like every guy making a play in the secondary is a freshman for this San Diego State defense. Yeah,
Kurt Maddox, great defensive coordinator, great scheme. All these guys came up under Rocky Long. They're making tackles in space today.
Hillstead. He'll go down, a gain of 1, but Cooper McDonald, another one of the Washington transfers in this game, with the tackle.
His brother Caden and him just raised havoc last year running around. They were fun to watch for a while here in beautiful San Diego. Cooper McDonald out of Texas, started his career at Washington. Relentless Sam Backer. Nice job there, setting up Utah State for a 3rd and long.
Robert Briggs, the running back. Here comes Heat. Hillstead under pressure. He goes down, a sack. The Aztecs get home. Tupu Alualu and Daniel Apoko were there.
Well, Cody Moon is mugged up and he gets passed off. Does Alualu by Wyatt Bowles, who thought someone else was going to be there to pick him up. Bowles passed him off to pick up Cody Moon, who was making a lot of a threat in the gap there. And Alualu runs through and gets to Hillstead.
Last possession, 14-play scoring drive for the Aggies. This a 3-and-out. Marks to punt. Shaw with space. He's going to take it. And he'll get down inside the 45. Aztecs want a flag on the sideline, but one does not come. Good starting field position for San Diego State. 36 yards on the punt, 13 on the return. Tomorrow on Fox, it's one of the biggest games of the year. Dallas versus Philly. Dak versus Jalen in America's Game of the Week. The next chapter in this historic rivalry kicks off tomorrow at 4 Eastern on Fox. After the short punt and the good return, San Diego State will start this possession in Aggie territory at the 42-yard line.
Both offenses had a little bit of a say and have kind of gone away a little bit here in the middle of the second quarter.
Made with excellent protection. Checks it down to Keenan Christian, the back, and he gets cut down inside the 40. Coming up to make the stop, Simeon Harris, the Colorado transfer.
Looks like they were trying to get the ball downfield there, and instead Maiden didn't like what he saw. Looked like he had a couple of openings down the field, but instead checks it down, and a nice gain on first down. Maiden hadn't run the ball in this game yet. We were talking about Guy, and he's been their leading rusher on the season.
Lucky Sutton is the guy in the backfield with him. He's had the big day so far, running the rock, and he gets it again here. Through a hole on the left side, and he gets ripped down right at the stick. And this is going to be just shy. 3rd down and less than a yard.
Well, Tafisi's going to be the guy getting after these running backs, and he does a good job shedding the block and getting to the hips of Sutton, but not before Sutton almost gets a first down. Another 3rd and short, and we got the big fullbacks in the game for the Aztecs again.
Leo Kemp and Nick Gardenera. Gardenera not in this time. It's Jalen Armstead along with Sutton. Here's Armstead who takes it, and he's got the first down. Looked like the brotherly shove was coming.
Yeah, they lined up for that quarterback sneak look that's so popular, and then they got it to Armstead, and
Field is forward progress.
they're going to say that his forward progress was stopped before the ball was ripped out. Utah State thought they had the ball. Just some bubble blocks there. Kemp comes around and makes a block, and a nice job by Armstead, who's seen his carries decrease. We were discussing with the emergence of Lucky Sutton. Armstead is a good back. He's got some good wiggle, but he has had some fumbling problems. Coach Anderson looks on.
Keenan Christian shifts out of the backfield, and that's where Maiden finds him, right on the hands. 3 blocks out in front from his wide receivers and a tight end, and a first down pickup.
Elite acceleration there through that little tiny gap. Maiden's had some success throwing the ball short. Great block there on the edge from Josh Nicholson. And Kristen, not a big guy, only 190, but he runs pretty heavy. He runs with a lot of aggression and elite speed, like we were saying.
Big 49. You can see him there on the left of the screen. Leo Kemp back in. He's got Sutton back there with him beside Maiden on first down. Sutton just lunges forward to avoid a negative gain and actually picks up a yard.
What a play by MG Tafisi, just flying in there and sacrificing his body. Dean Abdullah coming around, and Kemp trying to block him, and he just shoves his face into Abdullah, forcing Sutton to kind of make an errant cut. That is how you face the run right there from the middle linebacker position.
The big back Sutton, the freshman at 6'1", 215, stands beside the quarterback, Maiden, who wants to throw. Maiden lofts it. End zone too high for Redmond and out of bounds, and it's now third down.
Well, they brought 4 and dropped 7, and Maiden not pressured but didn't really have anywhere to go. Throws it real high. Redmond 6'6", but even he couldn't get to this one. I believe he's just thrown it away to get to the next play.
Are you surprised we haven't seen Maiden run?
I'm sure that they have some stuff, especially in these different looks that Coach Lindley is showing Utah State with the fullback in the backfield. That just screams quarterback run, but we haven't seen it in the first half, no?
Maiden throws out to the sideline and unable to bring it in is Balin Brooks. And it's now 4th down and 9.
You can see they're trying to get the ball to Balin Brooks. They try to get it to him on a screen a little earlier. This time they just have him run a stop route, and he did have to move to get that ball, but kind of switched and flipped his hands over and didn't have as much of a chance. Not a great throw by Maiden, but Brooks should have come down with it.
Browning missed from 42 earlier and snuck an extra point in his last time out. This is from 30 yards, and it's a fake, and Browning gets stuffed, going nowhere. And it's a turnover on downs and a hold for the Aggies. Ike Larson was ready.
Tuiaki was there as well, making big pressure.
Run on the field, run short of the line of the game. First down.
Blake Anderson wants to play fast. They just run kind of a power play. And like you said, Larson was ready. He read it and got his arm out as he was coming in to block the kick. He saw it coming the whole way. No one there to block the edge because they thought Browning was just going to come right down really close to the line of scrimmage to give the ball to a kicker.
Aztecs just think field goals aren't going to win this game. What do you make of that?
I mean, I thought it was something they thought might really work from something they saw in film. Not the case, though.
Here's Rasul Faison weaving his way for a first down before Coffey rides him down across the 25.
Now they could be up, with 13 points, 13-3 right now, San Diego State, with some of the mistakes they've had in special teams, and that was a point of emphasis for Coach Hope. Time of possession, turnover margin, special team.
Patient run for Faison as he picks up 3 before he's met by Barfield.
And you have a very good kicker. You want to play physical football. You want to push him around. Take the points in that situation, but obviously they thought that that play was going to work. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called it. Pretty far away.
Hilstead. And that's caught by Vaughn. And it's Deshaun McEwen, the senior transfer from TCU, there on the stop.
And we've seen these safeties play better and better as the season's gone on. Remember, they're missing Baskerville, who went to Texas Tech, and Pat McMorris, who went to Cal. Those would be the 2 leaders, making this one of the more experienced defenses in the Mountain West with their great scheme. Instead, they've been kind of learning on the fly all year.
Stacked up against a fantastic receiving corps, one of the best in the West. Hilstead against a 4-man pressure to Faison, and he just sprints forward towards the stick. And we'll see where they mark him. This is very close. Barfield and Moon were there.
A big collision there with Barfield and Cody Moon.
4th down and less than a yard. Already failed on 1 4th and short in their own territory. That was back early in the first quarter on the first possession. No, now they've moved the chains and they switch the indicator to say it was a first. Hilstead flushed, flag down, heaves it, Vaughn got it, Terrell Vaughn makes a break and gets tripped up just outside of the 15-yard line. Deshaun McEwen on the stop.
It's going to be a hold.
Number 56, offense. First down.
I understand him completely. It's on Cole Moats, number 56, the right tackle, and he was trying to block the captain, Garrett Fountain. Everybody saw it in the moment, and what a great play by Hillstead and Vaughn. That's erased, but Fountain you can see being held high. The official's right there. The flag comes out. A lot of action down the field, but all for naught because of the mistake.
42-yard pickup erased. The third penalty of the day against Utah State. So first down and 20. Hillstead pulls it down, and he meets Wyatt Drager.
Wyatt Drager out of the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, finds himself right in the backfield. Number 45 just fights through the center, Maui, and puts those big mitts on Hillstead. And Hillstead a little bit banged up after that, and he's being helped off the field. As Cooper Lagas starts to warm up.
Cooper Lagas, who's played a healthy amount this year. Hillstead been hurt. They've gone back and forth between the quarterbacks. Let's see if we can see anything here on the hit where Drager came in to meet him.
Well, he's 6'4", 270, and he's right there. And usually, if you get hit like that and dragged down, if you hit your head, it's usually you hit your head on the ground. But it didn't look like it was that violent of a hit on Hillstead, but certainly shook him up.
So there's Cooper Lagas for a 2nd and 23. Tough spot. This was a guy who started a lot of games last year, rallied the Aggies from 17 down against UConn earlier this season. These two quarterbacks split reps early in the week. It was not clear initially who the starter would be. They went with Hillstead, but Lagas should be ready.
Well, he's a tough guy, and he's led this team in the past. Lots of experience. He should be okay coming into this situation.
Play clock down to 5. Aztecs showing some pressure. It's Faison looking for space, and he gets hit hard by Josh Hunter, coming up to make his second tackle of this possession.
Josh Hunter, Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana out of Temecula Valley, California. A freshman, as we keep saying, these young guys making plays, and I'm really impressed with the aggression and the fury of the Aztec defense this afternoon. As the game goes on, they are really sprinting to the football and punishing the Aggie playmakers.
Now 3rd and 24. And Utah State will take a timeout. It's first of the half.
Timeout of the half.
A reminder of what's coming up on the State Farm halftime show. Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Chris Peterson with highlights from around the country, including Missouri, Georgia, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State, Texas. Plus big noon kickoff reaction from Austin and a look ahead to Michigan at Penn State on Fox next Saturday. That's coming up on the State Farm halftime. 38 seconds remaining in the half.
San Diego State is going to try to keep pressing that run game. They're going to try to run more and keep leaning on this smaller, less experienced Utah State defensive line. What can the Aggies do to combat that? Well, they can play a lot of guys, try to keep people fresh. They've been rolling in about 8 different defensive linemen in this game thus far.
This is Cam Davis, and he gets dragged down after a gain of 1 by Logan Peely.
Now in these 3rd and short situations for Jalen Maiden, offensive coordinator Ryan Lindley, former SDSU QB of course, has been successful throwing the ball short with Maiden. It feels like throwing it short and kind of managing the airtime of the ball has been a key to success, or lack of error, for Brady Hoke's offense.
4 for 8 on 3rd down in the first half were the Aztecs, and flags down, and this is going to go against San Diego State.
You don't run the ball on 1st and 2nd down to get to 3rd and manageable, so you do that. And that sets him back and probably changes the play call. And it's mistakes, little mistakes like that, that fly in the face of you trying to play ball control football if you're Brady Hoke. And they're hard to overcome, especially when you're struggling offensively.
3rd down and 9. Play clock down to 3. 3-man pressure. This is Christian, the running back, and he'll come up about 2 yards shy of the line to gain.
Aggies do a great job of protecting the stick there. Maiden has got to check it down, and then they get to the tackle and do not miss. They've been missing a lot of tackles, which has been a huge problem for the Aggies, especially against Fresno State recently. That time, sure tackling leads to the punt.
Big for a defense that's played the 12th most snaps in the nation. They're used to being on the field a lot.
And that's because of the offense and the nature of this team. So if you're the defensive coordinator like Joe Coughlin, you know what you're getting into.
Jack Browning. A good hang here for Micah Davis, who will fair catch it at the 26-yard line. And now we'll look to the Aggie sideline to see which quarterback comes onto the field. It looks like it's going to be number 5, Cooper Laga, taking over after Hillstead left the game injured late in the 2nd quarter.
As you mentioned in the first half, Guy, both these guys have gotten reps all week, Hillstead and Laga. And as we've been talking about throughout the afternoon, Laga actually a lot more experience than Hillstead, who's just a freshman. Laga, graduate senior. Big, tough dude with a long neck who's been through it with Coach Anderson.
So he had all of the half, presumably to prepare for this drive, and he starts it with the quick throw to Micah Davis, who runs through traffic out across the 35-yard line. Cody Moon, the tackle.
Maui, the center, who's been forced into duty with a nice lead block there, and that's a good play on 1st down to get the Aggies rolling.
And a lot of movement up front and a flag, and this will set the Aggies back.
Well, there should be able to do that.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Tava Motuapuaka, who's been very good, the right guard. See the movement there. They should be able to get up to the line of scrimmage and go as fast as they want. That's their nature.
Devon Booth gets popped, but not before he picks up 5 yards. Let's bring up 3rd down at about 2. We haven't really gotten to see this offense getting a great rhythm outside of maybe one drive. But they're the 5th fastest tempo in the nation.
It's very impressive when they can get 1st downs. When you find this situation and they're getting to these 3rd and shorts, they got to be able to convert so they can get that thing started.
Top 25 scoring offense that hasn't scored a touchdown today. Laga just gets rid of it with Moon bearing down on him.
Well, they wanted to get the ball to Booth quickly on a quick throw out of the backfield, but a great job by the Sam linebacker, Cooper McDonald, covering Booth up, and Laga had nowhere else to go with the ball. Ends up throwing it away. Really well defended by Kurt Maddox's guys. The 4th season of defensive coordination here at San Diego State. He's been doing a great job as Rocky Long's protege.
Long history of great defense. Here's the fake, and it's a 1st down. It's picked up by Rasul Faison. Make that Switzer. It was Switzer, the defensive back, who steps up for the 1st down.
Yeah, good catch there, Guy. The old double numbers on special teams. You'd think they'd snap it directly to the tailback. They snap it directly to their will linebacker, and Switzer weaves his way around and gets the 1st down. San Diego State not expecting that. Had a return on, and just a wide open little space there for Switzer to get the 1st down. San Diego State with the fake field goal earlier. Now Utah State with a fake punt.
Here's Terrell Vaughn. Boy, Switzer really does do it all, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive to be able to do that. Take a direct snap and create with the ball in one hand, because that was not just a straight run. He had to do some cutting there, and now Laga with another chance.
Maybe that's the spark this offense needs. There's Robert Briggs. And Cooper McDonald comes flying in. He's feeling it right now.
Cooper McDonald's kind of got that old school linebacker look. The old Bosworth look. You know, the farther your jersey creeps up there and shows your navel, the tougher you are as a linebacker. That's what I learned in the 90s. You can get up there right under your chest. I mean, you're really doing it.
You didn't have that look, Petros.
No. I like to tuck it in.
Third down. The guy's going to take a moment with time on the play clock and look to the sideline. Here comes pressure. It's picked up. Lagat throws for a first down to Jalen Royals.
Well, you said it right there. Robert Briggs Jr. picking up the blitz. Cody Moon coming, a great blitz pickup, and here you see it on the other side. Brock Lane was the other option.
And now the pace. And no gain for Briggs. Garrett Fountain there. Garrett Fountain, the linebacker turned defensive lineman. Brady Hoke told us this week he received a record 83 votes for captain when they had the team voting. So he's never had a guy get as many votes as Garrett Fountain.
He plays hard and with a lot of purpose.
Four-man pressure picked up. Lagat, deep shot, and it's caught for the touchdown. Jalen Royals, a quick strike for the Aggies.
And that's what happens when you leave them on the field. They had an opportunity to gash the Aztecs, who've been playing excellent defense most of the day, and they do. By Noah Tumblin. Royals, beautifully thrown ball that he receives from Lagat, and just like that, and that's how it can happen in a game like this. San Diego State can't hold on to the ball, has a penalty. Utah State with the fake punt capitalizes, has a lead.
William Testa tacks on the point after. You just can't keep this talented group held down for long. Terrell Vaughn, Jalen Royals, Micah Davis, they've been explosive this year. And Jalen Royals just scored his 9th touchdown of the season, and the Aggies lead. Utah State has the lead 10-7 here in the third quarter. A quick strike to Jalen Royals, who just scored his 5th 50-yard touchdown in the last 5 games.
That's being explosive, and that's being a downfield threat, and you can't forget about it. And that's what the Aztecs did in that moment. They fell asleep on the punt return and fell asleep there in coverage.
Well, a line drive that gets touched and then picked up, and Cam Davis able to get it out to the 25-yard line. Risky play. Let's look at the touchdown.
Well, you see, he's just way out there in the middle of nowhere, and it's just him and Noah Tumblin, and he gives him the stop move. Tumblin stumbles just a little bit. Stumbling, tumbling, and just an unbelievable quick move down the field to come open. Tumblin, a very good corner. Des Malone's been great all year, too. But that's all of an opening that they need. Cooper Lagat, we said he's an experienced guy who knows how to run this offense. Proven it there early in the third quarter.
So Aztecs trailing for the first time, and Maiden hits Blake, his first touch of the night, and Martin Blake is across midfield and inside the 45.
Well, when Blake's in the backfield, you really have to have your antenna up if you are a defender, because that's a guy they like to do a lot of different things with. Catching the ball out of the backfield, trick plays and things of that nature. Young man out of Las Vegas. Canyon Springs High School, the same high school as the great San Diego State running back Donnell Pumphrey.
This running play going nowhere. Peely is there to bring it to a screeching halt and a loss of 2.
Transfer from BYU, Logan Peely, right there with the big hug. And this is what's kept the San Diego State offense out of rhythm. Inability to get your 4 or 5 yards on first down in the run to make things easier on the offense. They've been pulling people around, but Utah State, not that big. Quick, though, has been able to find their ways around those blocks and get into the backfield. Peely just did it there.
So second down and 12 after the big stop from Peely. Maiden right on the money to Mark Redmond. That'll bring up a third down and 5.
We've seen some of these flashes in the first half, right? We saw Jalen Maiden have some success, catch a little bit of a rhythm in the short passing game. But does San Diego State have the ability to move the ball slowly down the field without making mistakes? That really hasn't been the case. Remember, on their touchdown, they had a really long run by Lucky Sutton, which set him up.
Also have missed a field goal in this game. And flags here as this play goes off. And this will set the Aztecs back.
Ball start. Down.
Still struggling with the referee, Mike, but you know that San Diego State is having a lot of trouble with their front. This is the second time that they've had an unforced error here in the third quarter in a tough situation for their offense, and now they're looking at 3rd and 10. Hard to answer scores when you have penalties like that, especially for a team that has a hard time with explosive plays.
Keenan Christian the back. He leaks out. Maiden under heat, throws it back to a back shoulder of his intended receiver Breon Petty, who was hand fighting with J.D. Drew, and it's 4th down. Crowd wanted a flag.
They wanted Mark Redmond down the field, was the primary receiver, it looked like. And then Maiden's got to kind of try to create, not a bad idea to throw it to Penny's back shoulder, but Penny was out of position, and now there's a flag. As San Diego State sets up to punt.
The flag's in the middle of the group of Utah State defenders.
Did somebody say something unsavory?
After the offense. 15, 4th down.
Something unsportsmanlike against the Aztec.
Someone said something. Something bad. A little more room for Browning.
Averages 45 yards per punt, but can boom it further. Micah Davis is back deep. 1 step forward, 2 steps back for the San Diego State offense. This has got a lot of hang time, and Davis is going to fair catch it at the 16. 6:04 remaining in the third, and maybe Cooper Laga's got the Utah State
Timeout on the field.
offense going.
San Diego State's had a rough time here at home in the special teams. First, Browning misses the field goal. Coach Anderson knows how big that is early in the game. Then the fake to Browning, trying to run power. He gets stopped by the great safety Ike Larson. And then Utah State with Switzer and the fake punt that set up the touchdown. Special teams in favor of the Aggies, and the Aztecs knew they had to have an advantage of that side of the ball to really have a great chance in this game, and right now not happening.
Cooper Laga, his second drive, and he throws long to the numbers, and that is complete to Jalen Royals, who had that 50-yard touchdown reception on the last possession. So Utah State's already thrown for more yards in the second half than they did in the entire first.
And they go right back to Royals because they know Tumblin's going to give him some good cushion after he just got beat on the double move, and that's exactly what happened there. Nice play call by Blake Anderson.
Now it's Rasul Faison, and Fountain got the last shred of the jersey to bring him down.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a holding call there. It looked like McDonald might have been held, but Faison trying to get something going after he was caught in the backfield. But a great job getting off blocks by Fountain and McDonald. Fountain's having a heck of a game.
Now 3rd down. Under pressure, Laga is sacked. Cyrus Fiaseu with a huge stop.
Great effort from Fiaseu. You see him there coming off the edge right underneath Wyatt Bowles, who was a little late to fill that gap. And he gets skinny, slides through, and takes Laga out. Nice answer from the San Diego State defense after getting gashed.
Kirk Maddox has blitzed a lot in the last 2 games. He said they'd have to be a little more judicious tonight, given the threat on the outside by these Utah State receivers, and he picked the right time there. Shaw with another return. He's got a little bit of a seam to the sideline, and now he needs another block. A flag comes in behind him, and he gets down to the 33-yard line. The punter, Ryan Marks, came up to make the tackle, but will check on the penalty. 33 yards on the return. Been a very good, historically, special teams unit here at San Diego State.
During the return, back in the back, number 27 of the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Jelani McLaughlin.
Timeout on the field.
The guilty party there. And so great starting field position for the Aztecs. Erased, but they'll have the ball when we return. College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. Weather in San Diego for the start of Fleet Week. Advertised this weekend. It's been fantastic. Take a look at the Mountain West standings, the conference records. Air Force, of course, lost to Army today.
To Army, a
But
3-win Army team. What happened?
Control of the race for the Mountain West title game. Aztecs start after the penalty on the return from their own territory, and about no gain there for Keenan Christian.
And I'll tell you, that penalty on the return hurt him. A great return from Mekhi Shaw, way behind the play is the penalty, and another special teams mistake for Brady Hoke's team, trying to play possession football in this game, and these mistakes have really set them back, find themselves in a game that they've controlled a lot of the way, not winning.
Here's Lucky Sutton on 2nd down and 10. And he gets 2 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Kind of slow developing there. Devin Dye was able to scrape over the top and get to him before he was able to do any damage and turn that corner. And now another 3rd and long situation for Jalen Maiden, and these have been difficult for the Aztecs. See if they try to get the ball to Mark Redmond. He's been pretty stable target in this game for Maiden.
Only 2 receptions by wide receivers in the game today so far for the Aztecs. Here's Maiden, good pocket. On course, complete. That's Penny, and that's a 1st down.
They've been trying to get the ball to Breon Penny throughout this game. Maiden looking comfortable, able to step up and deliver that ball. Xavion Steele, looks like it was up to him to get a little closer there and pressure that throw. That'll give Maiden some confidence. Big conversion on a 3rd and long.
Now here's Sutton out of the pistol. And he gets ripped down after a 2-yard pickup. Otuapuaka, the first man in.
San Diego State, we talked about how good they are with a lead, especially this season, 3-0 when they're winning. They no longer have the lead that they enjoyed at halftime. So holding the ball and pushing Utah State around is not going to be enough. They're going to have to score some points and find a way.
As Redmond, the tight end, going in motion. Utah State showing pressure. Here they come. Picked up for a moment. Maiden trying to get away from Tafisi, and he gets upended by Devin Dye after no gain. He took a big hit.
Well, the biggest hit was Anthony Switzer, who just blew up Keenan Christian on the fake. Almost blew up the mesh. Christian just sacrifices his body. Switzer falls down. Tafisi gets to the legs, and Maiden jumps and does a flip to create a bit of a positive play. But wow, between Tafisi and Switzer, what crashing.
A 3rd down and long. They've averaged 3rd and 8 so far tonight Four-man pressure picked up. Maiden throws. Two men in the area, and Brooks dropped it.
That was intended for Mark Redmond, I believe. But Balin Brooks, the very talented freshman, ends up just a little bit too close to his route. It's because Redmond ended up in a little bit of a tangle with Harris there. And Brooks kind of tried to lay out for that ball. He saw the ball and he made an effort for it. He did not know that Redmond was behind him, and more mistakes from this Aztec team.
Brooks dejected on the sideline, his second drop of the night, as Browning with a nice kick down to the 6, where it's fair caught by Micah Davis. 38 yards on the punt. Aztecs going to lean on their defense again here near the end of the third quarter. Coming up next on FS1, it's a battle in the Pac-12. The 19th ranked UCLA Bruins take on the Arizona Wildcats. Keep it locked on FS1 for a great nightcap for college football. That should be a great game. Arizona with an impressive win over Oregon State last week. After a really good punt by Jack Browning, Utah State starts this possession on its 6 with Terrell Vaughn taking the pitch and racing around the edge, and he's out across the 25. Great play on first down from deep in their own territory.
Yeah, Cody Moon ran him down, but able to exploit that edge and get a good start here. We'll see if this offense can get moving again. Utah State with a lead, and Cooper Legas been playing pretty well.
Now Legas will pitch it again, this time to Booth, and he gets knocked over from the side by Cooper McDonald.
San Diego State has played good to excellent defense all afternoon into the night, but that double move against Noah Tumblin.
This is Jalen Royals, and he is very near another first down. And you just feel like you ask so much of this San Diego State defense, and they're going to have to keep this game close as this game continues into the fourth quarter. Cooper Legas come off the bench.
That's the end of the third quarter
to get the Aggies the lead. The fourth quarter is coming up next. Ready for the fourth quarter here in San Diego. The Aztecs had a 7-3 lead at the half, but Utah State a quick score to start the third quarter. And 10-7 is where we stand. Third down and 1 for Utah State at its own 36. Pressure coming up the gut. It gets picked up. Legas shoots it to the sideline for Vaughn, and he's got it. And the Aggies break into Aztec territory to start the fourth.
Well, we talked about at the top of the show that they had to hold fast to their scheme and play fast. Hillstead, the freshman, goes out, but here comes Cooper Legas. They get Vaughn on the wheel route coming out on the edge.
After the 40-yard pickup, Legas back to the air. This is Josh Sturzer, his first catch of the year after being injured early in fall camp. Let's look at the previous play.
Here's the previous play. Yeah, Vaughn coming behind that combo route to run a bit of a wheel, bubbling around. Really well designed from Blake Anderson, and a nice ball from Legas.
Devon Booth feeling his way, and he gets tied up by Cody Moon. Cooper Legas did not start this game. That was the freshman McKay Hillstead, who was hurt on this play at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, Wyatt Drager tackled him there. We weren't really sure what it was, but you look at it again, it looks like that ankle got rolled up, and we see him limping off, and he has not returned. Cooper Legas has come in, though, with a chip on his shoulder and led the Aggies on the road.
He's 9 of 10 passing, Petros, for 144. He hands it off here to Booth, who breaks through and breaks in for an Aggie touchdown. A different offense in the second half.
And that's really what they try to do as well. Wear you down in a different way than the Aztecs. Kind of wear you down with their speed, keep the game close, and hurt you offensively. A great block from Brock Lane on Cedarius Barfield. and really well read by Booth. The young man out of Vegas takes it to the house for the Aggies.
Testa splits the uprights. This drive that started on their own 8-yard line, and it only takes 2.5 minutes to get down the field to score. And the Aggies extend their lead. College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. 17-7, Utah State leading. Terrell Vaughn had the big catch to put the Aggies in San Diego State territory, and then Devon Booth with the touchdown run to cap a 2-minute and 25-second 92-yard scoring drive. 17 unanswered points for the Aggies, and now the pressure's really on this Aztecs defense as Sheldon Canley brings it out, and he'll only get to about the 17-yard line. Tonight's Stay in the Game is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. Revisiting your keys, Petros.
Well, we talked about Utah State believing in what they do and playing fast, and they've been able to do that, especially as the second half has developed with the quarterback that didn't start the game and Cooper Legas. San Diego State, they have been physical in this game, and they have dominated this game physically with their offensive line and defensive line. They should be able to beat up on the Aggies, but mistakes, a mistake-riddled game has put them in this position, and now 2 scores down. How much pressure is on Jalen Maiden?
Lucky Sutton, the only back that's really had much success today. He has all of the positive rushing yards, and he's got a good chunk on first down. Sutton now over 80 yards rushing. The rest of the team combined for -2.
And it was his long run, and only his long run, that really sparked things for the Aztecs on their 1 touchdown drive. They did have the missed field goal earlier and the botched fake field goal. But interesting the way this has played out.
It's Sutton again, and he goes nowhere this time as Logan Peely comes up to make the tackle. The crowd doesn't like it.
And you're just starting to feel the restlessness because they just don't know where the offense is going to come from. Can Jalen Maiden really get this team on his back and get the 2 scores necessary to make this an even game? It's going to be very interesting to see what they do offensively to try to pull something out now that they no longer have the lead and it's more than 1 score.
Joshua Nicholson's come into the game in the slot at the bottom, going his way. He fell down, battling with the defender, Simeon Harris, and it's 4th down.
Nicholson there with Harris. It looked like Harris and him were doing some grabbing. Either way, no flag and more frustration from the crowd. Yeah, he really held on to him there, trying to come out of his break. You see the official right there. Flag stays in the pocket. Punter comes out on the field. Jack Browning, we've seen a lot of him.
4th straight punt here for Browning. And he's going to fake. The second fake of the game, and it's the second time it's stopped. Ike Larson comes up to make the play.
And that's the second time Ike Larson has tackled Browning on a fake punt or field goal. Sometimes if the punter sees it, and especially a guy like a captain like Browning, they let him take it. That looked like it was called because of the lead block there on the edge that you see. And just beautifully read by Ike Larson, who's been a playmaker, especially in special teams, into the night now.
And now the pressure's really on the San Diego State defense.
Yeah, just kind of inexplicable to make that call in that position, other than just the desperation of not being able to get it going offensively. But the 2 fakes San Diego State has run have been poor.
Legas, pressure coming from Moon, right on his heels. Legas will throw it away after 8 straight completions. That breaks the streak.
Cody Moon's been very active in this game, running people down. Legas showing some good speed as well. He is a tough guy, a state wrestling champ. Coach Anderson Really loves him as a player, but just says he wasn't playing fast enough, wasn't making the plays necessary. They wanted to give Hillstead a look, but Laga's come in and played quite well.
Pressure again in his face. He gets rid of the ball right at Garrett Fountain's feet. It was Fiaseu all over Laga, and the officials are going to confer here.
Yeah, the flag did come in. Robert Briggs, it was a screen, and Robert Briggs was not really in the area. He would have been if he threw it the first time.
Number 5, Bobby on the foul, loss of down, 3rd down.
Well, that's a huge break for San Diego State. You see Blake Anderson saying, Briggs is in the area. We're running a screen. Briggs is number 2. And the ball didn't really get to him, but it was clearly a screen look. I mean, Briggs is curling right there, and he threw it in his area. To me, looked like it was more of a pass to Cole Moats, but I would have kept the flag in the pocket in that situation.
Cole Moats is the right tackle, just to be clear.
Exactly.
3rd and 21. Briggs around the corner, and he's going to make for an interesting decision here. Remember, the starting kicker, Elliot Nimrod, is not with the team today. Testa doesn't have great range.
They are going to jog Testa out there because this run gave him a little bit of a better look at this try. Robert Briggs from Texas, the sophomore, finding the edge there.
Testa's long is 32. This is 38 yards. He's got the leg, but he pushes it right. And so after the fake punt fails, the Aztecs defense holds strong. And San Diego State still has life. And next they have the ball.
Operation Wonder Park is a...
Tomorrow on Fox is one of the biggest games of the year. Dallas versus Philly. Dak versus Jalen in America's Game of the Week. The next chapter in this historic rivalry kicks off tomorrow at 4 Eastern on Fox. Take a look at our game summary. San Diego State led 7-3 at the half. Cooper Laga came in for the injured starter, McKay Hillstead, and he's been really good off the bench. 144 yards passing for Utah State. But after a missed field goal, the San Diego State offense with 11:18 remaining. We know they have not been quick strike. They need 2 scores, but they still have life.
No, and other than costing them a little bit of time, that fake punt that was just a terrible result doesn't hurt them too much.
Now Maiden wants to throw. Maiden under pressure. And he threads the needle to Shaw, who's still fighting his way out to the 40. That ball was on the money for 19 yards.
And that is probably the best throw of the night so far for Maiden. Able to really just toss it in there. Tafisi laid out to get it.
3-man pressure, but there is none. Maiden all the time in the world to get it to Christian. Trying to make a man miss in space. He's able to pull out a Switzer, but Tafisi is there for the tackle.
Good job by Kristen making something out of that, because it looked like Switzer had him all tied up right around the sticks, but instead makes it 2nd down and about 4. This has been a good start for Maiden, but they've stalled out around here throughout the game.
Here's Christian through a big hole, and he's across midfield with a 1st down.
Devin Dye stood him up at the end of that, and you just don't see from Kristen that second cut and the burst down the field to use that speed as much as you think you would.
Maiden under pressure. Mells flies by as Maiden lofts it out of bounds. Sir Mells, the transfer from Oregon, blew that play up.
Yeah, and a good job by Maiden avoiding him and trying to create something with Breon Penny. A little bit of a miscommunication, or Maiden just wisely throwing it away. See if San Diego State can find some sense of urgency offensively. They have thus far, but Can they finish this drive with points? They need it.
There goes Cam Davis out of the backfield. Maiden sets up the screen. Here's Christian. He's got blockers in front. Stiffs arms a defender, and he's got a first down. A big pickup when they needed it to move the chains.
Yeah, this isn't the first time they've had success throwing a screen to Christian in this game. Good job disguising it, getting behind the line of scrimmage. Maiden dumps it off, and he's got a convoy. Able to create and break some tackles before Tavisi makes the play. Good job reading that by the captain, Keenan Christian.
Maiden with two backs in the game. Goes to the back shoulder to Shaw, and he tiptoes the sideline. And the Aztecs are into the red zone to pick up a 24.
Takes all the way to the fourth quarter to really see the confidence they want Jalen Maiden to play with. The earlier throw to Shaw, and now this one, the back shoulder against J.D. Drew, who was in a good position there, but just a beautifully thrown ball and well-timed by the former walk-on Shaw. You know, the two best receivers at San Diego State in the last 4 years, Jesse Matthews and now Mekhi Shaw, both former walk-ons out on the perimeter.
Now Leo Kemp, the big fullbacks, come into the game. He's beside the back Maiden. He's going to lead block for the quarterback, and Maiden will get no gain when it's all said and done. J.D. Drew is there to shove him out.
Good job kind of forcing the issue by J.D. Drew, coming up and challenging the big body on Moose Maiden, 6'3", 220, kind of pushing him out of bounds. You see the numbers this drive throwing the ball. Very good. And then adding in that element of the quarterback run, Ryan Lindley there. I like the idea. Just didn't work. But San Diego State, best they've looked on offense since the first quarter, since the sun was out.
Can they pay it off? 4 wide. Maiden throws. That's caught by Penny. It's going to be a very short gain, and it's going to bring up third down and long.
Remember, you got to keep your eye on Mark Redmond, but they have gotten some receivers going now. Shaw and Penny have picked up some of the slack for their quarterback. This is a very important third down call from Ryan Lindley, though. A field goal here doesn't kill you.
Play clock down at 12 as you saw Maiden looking to the sideline. Two tight ends in the game. Cameron Hartwell joins Mark Redmond. They're on either side of the line of scrimmage. Maiden complete. Christian, and he's in. Touchdown Aztecs. A big third down touchdown conversion. What a drive from San Diego State.
Big moment as Christian just kind of trickles out of the backfield, makes an acrobatic move to score that ball as he was kind of drifting out of bounds. Look at that. He kind of uses his right hand and moves the ball in front of the pylon. Nice job and a good read by Jalen Maiden, being patient and waiting for his back to come open. Impressive drive and a great recovery, finding some confidence for the quarterback.
Browning for the point after. Now we got a 3-point game.
San Diego State refusing to go gently into that good night. Christian with the beautiful touchdown, and Jalen Maiden feeling it. We feel you too, Moose.
We got a 3-point game here in the fourth quarter with 7:10 remaining. San Diego State with a big drive to answer, and for Keenan Christian, his first touchdown of the year, and it comes at a huge spot with these two teams fighting for bowl eligibility, 3 and 5 to start November. Both of them feel like they need it tonight.
And it goes to show you how much they've been struggling on offense. Your captain, starting tailback, first touchdown here after Halloween.
Terrell Vaughn's going to bring this for Utah State, and he's got the sideline. Terrell Vaughn cuts it back and finally gets spun down at the 46-yard line. 43 on the return for the big-time playmaker.
Huge momentum, special teams-wise, in this game has come all night for Utah State, as Vaughn's has been great catching the ball, especially this half. And that time, some really nifty moves on the edge. I thought he was going to get caught up to and cough that ball up, but a good job of ball security.
So here's Cooper Lega back out. An efficient day for him so far since taking over for the injured McKay Hillstead, who was the starter. Got hurt late in the second quarter. Nowhere to go for Rasul Faison. You know, we talked to Brady Hoke this week and asked him about the physicality of practice. And he said, Petros, we did the inside drill, and you know me, I could do that drill for an hour and a half every week.
Yeah, the old run drill, 9-on-7, and that's what he wants to do. They've tried to be more physical, and they've been physical in this game.
Here's a shot, and Royals can't bring it down. Great defense by Josh Hunter to break up a big play.
Well, Hunter really stayed after that play. Good young player, and we've said that a bunch about some of these guys. Stayed after Royals and made sure he didn't come down with it. I don't know if Royals was going to ever come down with it. Looked like it bounced off his hands. Really beautiful ball. Accurate throws down the field we've seen throughout the evening from Cooper Lega since he got in.
So now third down, and this crowd getting into it, urging this defense on. And Blake Anderson's going to take a timeout. He didn't like what he saw.
It looked like he saw a little bit of a corner blitz coming from Noah Tumblin. They called a quick timeout there. Blake Anderson got to be happy with the way his offense has responded under Cooper Lega.
Lega had the big game off the bench, the comeback win against UConn, and he's trying to lead a comeback. They've got the lead now because of the way he's played.
Yeah, you see what he's been able to do, throwing the ball short. Some beautiful long passes. That one, the one that opened up the game a little bit to Jalen Royals, getting him involved again. Just throwing the ball on rhythm. Really nice ball to Vaughn, letting him run under it, make a play. Cooper Lega playing with a chip on his shoulder, lost this job, but getting it back tonight.
Third down and 10. Here comes pressure. Lega with bodies all around, incomplete behind Brock Lane.
Well, they sent everybody at him, and he was able to stand in there with courage, but San Diego State's just done a great job of blitzing and then covering things up on the backside. They knew he was going to try to get it to Brock Lane. Short, the tight end as an outlet. And a lot of reaction from the Aztec defense, starting to feel it. Starting to feel like they're giving their team an opportunity to come back and win.
After the offense scored a touchdown on the previous possession, Shaw encouraging everybody to get away from this good punt off the foot of Ryan Marks that'll come to rest inside the 15. A 39-yard punt. Aztecs with the ball down 3. San Diego State with the ball down 3, and it looks like maybe their offense, Petros, has found a rhythm. This touchdown drive to make this game close had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it was really Jalen Maiden and his arm primarily making some great plays. That back shoulder throw to Mekhi Shaw was huge. Some patience to get it to Kristen. Kristen with 7 catches in this game. That's the most for a San Diego State running back since Donnell Pumphrey, we mentioned earlier, in October 8th of 2016. It's been a while.
They're trying to get a fourth quarter comeback, trailing by 10 or more for the first time in a decade. This drive begins with Maiden looking to throw. evading pressure just for a moment, but he gets sacked. A loss of 7 yards. Peely brought him down, and the pressure was bearing down from the snap, it seemed.
Yeah, Maiden with some confidence. So what does Joe Compton do? The defensive coordinator for the Aggies sends everybody and make them a little bit uncomfortable. Now San Diego State behind the sticks. There's Compton right there. Coach looks in pretty good shape there.
Yeah, he does. 4th sack for his defense. And now flags.
More frustration from this San Diego State offensive line. Just, I believe that's the 3rd false start this half. And after that great confidence-inducing drive, more mistakes. That's Abdullah, the starting right guard at Antelope, California.
2nd and 21 from inside their own 5. Maiden gets it out quickly, but too high for the back, Keenan Christian.
And then that bugaboo kind of starts to strike them again. High throws, herky-jerky offense, the stuff that has set the Aztecs offense back this year and beyond, becoming a frustration again. 3rd and forever in a game that is dwindling. But remember, Utah State, not a lot of ability to run clock. That's just not what they do. They're not a 4-minute drill team. So San Diego State may have more opportunities. You hate to see them squander this drive if you're an Aztec fan, though.
Maiden over the middle to the tight end, Redmond. And that'll get some of the penalty yards back, but it's still 4th and 11. And here comes the punt team.
I don't think we're going to see a fake this time, Guy, but I didn't think we were going to see a fake the last 2 times. So we've had 3 fakes in this game, only 1 successful, and that's the one the Aggies ran.
Browning from his own end zone with Micah Davis waiting to return. Aggies try to set up the return. Great hang time again for Browning. Davison all the way back inside the 30. And not much on the return.
Great coverage.
A flip of field position on a 53-yard punt and a 6-yard return. So you're the 4-minute offense guy, right?
That was at a different time. You know, they didn't used to start the clock until you handed the ball to the ref. You know, now they do. You know, it used to be like hold the ball and make the ref beg you for the ball and stay on the ground forever. You know, that's not what Utah State's going to do. Although they would love to get a drive here and get that offense going under Cooper Lega. San Diego State can't fall asleep here.
Here's a good run from Booth to start this drive and a pickup of 6 yards.
We'll see how much time they leave on the clock here to snap it. You know, it's one thing to be up at the line of scrimmage. It's another thing to snap it. And here it is right at 25. It looks like they're getting ready to go.
Now everybody relaxes.
Well, that's more of what they're going to have to do, but not to the detriment of their rhythm. So a really fine line Blake Anderson's trying to walk right now.
They'll snap it with about 5 on the play clock. Lega loading up, and he lofts it. Flag down, and Davis can't bring it in. Des Malone right there. J.D. Coffey came over to make a hit as well.
Still haven't gotten the call yet. Trying to get it to Micah Davis. And it looked like Malone had a hold of him.
Pass interference for 4, defense. 15 yards from previous spot, automatic. Down.
So a costly penalty. And it came a little bit before that, I think. Physical finish there by Coffey.
7th penalty of the game for San Diego State, or on San Diego State.
Oh, it looks like they're going to review this.
There's Cal McNeil over at the monitor. Like you said, though, Petros, that the flag was thrown before the arrival of the ball. It was not related to.
So then that would make it a holding penalty, not pass interference, if the flag was thrown before the ball was thrown.
But the review here is for targeting.
For targeting, and they're going to call that on Coffey coming in and making that play. Absolutely, you're right. Yeah, they're looking at Coffey for targeting against Micah Davis. So if the guy's trying to make a catch like that, that means he's a defenseless player. So anything, an arm, yeah, they threw him out. So even though the ref they threw him out. That's a defenseless player. Even if he didn't hit him with the crown of his head, if there was any forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player, that's going to be targeting. He did hit him with the crown of his head, and it's a defenseless player, so pretty easy call to make, to look at in the aftermath. The original call was PI, and now the targeting getting tacked on from J.D. Coffey.
That means Coffey will miss the first half of the Colorado State game next week. That was a good look at it.
Yeah, and you know, you say it's very difficult in that situation because you don't know what angle the receiver's coming. You don't know what angle you're going to end up on the receiver. I really realize that, but the more we see the officiating evolve, these guys have done a better and better job of protecting each other on the back end there. I don't think Coffey was trying to hurt anybody in that situation, just trying to play tough support defense. And now he's got to be out for the first half of the next one. Tough one there.
You got the start today in place of Marcus Ratcliffe. Under 4 minutes remaining here in regulation. Devon Booth is the running back. Here comes pressure, and Booth gets swallowed up by Tupu Alualu. Who then puts his hands in the air.
Yeah, this clock is ticking, and they do not have a lead here. San Diego State has got to start thinking about managing the clock and what to do with their timeouts in this situation. Blake is going to wait for that clock to go all the way down, even though they're up at the line of scrimmage. This is Utah State's version of the 4-minute offense.
Here's Booth breaking through, and he's down to the 37-yard line.
Huge run by Booth given the situation, and you see that clock keep ticking. Huge 3rd and short, and is there going to be enough time for San Diego State to be able to put together a drive with how much their offense has struggled most of this game?
Third down and 2. Aggies trying to put this game away. Here's Booth, and he gets swallowed up and stopped at the 40. Cooper McDonald and Cody Moon, and the defense steps up, and San Diego State will use its first timeout to stop the clock at 2:32.
Brady Hoke had faith in his defensive coordinator, Kurt Maddox. Lots of pressure. Josh Hunter really made the original play, turning the play back on the edge and getting in front of Wade Meacham and McDonald and Cody Moon, who have been very active all day, making some big plays from their linebacker positions. Moon with a lot of speed, McDonald with a lot of force, and setting up the edge at the Sam linebacker position. Could have saved their team, or at least give Maiden one more opportunity to try to tie or win this game.
They've asked a lot of this defense tonight, and they've answered the bell. So 2 timeouts for San Diego State. Mekhi Shaw back deep to receive the punt of Ryan Marks.
And remember, Browning, a great kicker for San Diego State, got a lot of leg. They missed a field goal, though, in this game, Guy, and they didn't make an attempt because they faked the field goal.
He missed from 42 earlier tonight. Marks drops the snap. He kicks it away off of an Aztec, and San Diego State recovers at the 45. Max Garrison right there to jump on it.
Well, special teams mistakes have been characteristic in this game, but mostly from the Aztec side. Now the road team making a critical error, the drop punt, and then it comes in and it's blocked. That ball was ricocheting around. I thought it maybe Utah State would be able to down it, but Aztecs right on top of it.
Maiden on the move, and he throws to Joshua Nicholson, his first catch tonight. Clock will keep running out across midfield.
The Aztecs are in a 2-minute look. They're not huddling.
Maiden to the sideline, but out of the reach of Shaw, and the clock stops at 1:58.
Incomplete passes in the 2-minute, not that bad. You can stop the clock and kind of take a deep breath as long as it doesn't get you around the 3rd or 4th down world. 3rd and short, pretty manageable right now.
If you were wondering about field goal range, you mentioned the big leg for Browning. Coaches told us this week, need to get to the 37-yard line or so in this situation. 54-55, they think would be his range here at home. Here's Keenan Christian getting the carry. Made it out front, lead blocking. And out of bounds at the 22-yard line goes Christian with 151.
What a moment for Jalen Maiden coming out and making a block, and Christian with that speed accelerates through. Hitting the edge is Mark Redmond doing a good job, and then Maiden kicks out. The quarterback sees a need and fills it, and now San Diego State moving well.
That's why they call him Moose.
Yeah.
Get behind the Moose.
He put his antlers right on top of that defender.
Maiden wants to throw. There's Redmond, the tight end, complete, and he's down inside the 15.
Now San Diego State starts to look at the clock. They don't want to score too fast. They want to control this as much as they can.
They'll pick up the first down, and they'll have a fresh set here.
They'll have a moment because we're under 2 minutes. The clock will stop. They'll wind it again. San Diego State now taking their time, really taking their time in a huddle. They want to play for the touchdown and the win.
Maiden throws. Redmond, too tall. And the lead was just 3 inches high.
He got behind the whole defense. Devin Dye was the closest man to him, and he gets caught kind of staring at the backfield at Jalen Maiden. Maiden has had some high throws throughout the game, and that time you see his reaction. We've talked about that confidence and how it can come and go. This is a moment that they needed badly.
Keenan Christian's been difficult to deal with catching the ball out of the backfield. He stands behind Maiden here on 2nd down. Maiden again to throw to the corner, and it's nearly intercepted through the hands of Michael Onyanwu at good coverage.
Onyanwu was the recipient of that big block that Jalen Maiden made on him that sprung Christian a little earlier in the drive, trying to get some revenge. Very good coverage And he was in front of Shaw. Maiden is lucky to get another chance after that one.
Christian is the back. Maiden avoids a defender. Now he's going to run for it, and he gets brought down at the 5, maybe the 6-yard line. Utah State saying they have the football, and the officials are going to have to sort this out. The call on the field is it's Harris who comes out holding the ball, but it looks like it's going to remain with the Aztecs. It will. It's 4th down.
Well, here's Maiden. Takes a hit there. Is the ball out there? It might have been.
Utah State is going to take a timeout. That has been an issue for Maiden at the point of contact, holding onto the ball. He's got to get some grass out of his eye as well. 36 seconds remaining, and a 4th down and 4 coming up. A field goal ties it. And before we have a decision for the Aztecs to make, we're going to get a review
on the
to see if this ball came out.
Yeah, let's see this. It was recovered by the Aggies if they say it was out. The call on the field is that he was down. There's the knee. We saw the right knee go down, and we did not see the ball come out. You just can't see it from that angle. Yeah, it looks to me like they're not going to be able to overturn that. Let's see. It's really hard to see where the ball came out because he was covered up by McGow, the defender who made the play.
Ball's in his left hand.
And we only really see it after they roll over. That's going to be tough to overturn.
Watch it here, Petros. Watch the ball in his left arm here.
Yeah, he still has possession, though, and then it comes out there. It looks like he's down. I don't think they're going to overturn this.
If San Diego State retains possession on 4th and 4 here.
Going to see another fake field goal?
What do you think?
I think they're going to play for overtime, even though it serves Utah State better. Ruling on the field stands, is what he said. So they're not going to confirm it because it just wasn't enough evidence, but not enough evidence to overturn it either. Hence 4th down.
Jack Browning coming on for the tie. He has missed today from 42 yards.
And remember, a backup kicker in the game for Utah State, and that bodes differently for them at the end of this game and a potential overtime.
.23 yards for Browning. I think San Diego State is going to take a timeout, it looks like.
Ice their own kicker. San Diego State wants to take a look at something here, or at least talk something over.
Brady Holt's team led 7-3. Utah State then scored 17 unanswered, and it looked like this game was going to get away from them.
Pardon me, Guy, it was a Utah State timeout.
Okay.
Which makes more sense.
Yes, it does. For the tie, Browning from 23 yards. It is up, and it is good. And we're knotted at 17. Not a great game special teams wise for the Aztecs.
But when it counts and when they need it for survival, they get it. Brady Hoke's got to prepare his team. First of all, prepare the special teams for kick return, kickoff cover for a return that Utah State might try to run. Then prepare the defense for the last 20-something seconds. Then get ready for overtime.
So Utah State still has one timeout. They did not take a timeout before that review. That review occurred without Utah State taking the timeout previously on that fumble play. So they have one remaining. San Diego State has two. Utah State has 10 scoring drives of under a minute this year. So that's what you're worried about if you're Brady Hoke right now.
All they need is a field goal, but they don't have their kicker.
A pop-up for Micah Davis. And he gets out to the 25. So no Elliot Nimrod, who's got a big leg, unavailable today. William Testa, his replacement at kicker, does not have nearly the range. Cooper Legat came on late second quarter after the injury to the starter McKay Hillstead, and he's played well in his place.
They got plenty of time to pull this off, and they have the offensive explosion, especially on the perimeter between Royals, Davis, and Vaughn, to make it count.
This is Briggs. Briggs picks up 8. And it'll bring up second down and short. Clock is running.
They've got to uncork one here.
Legat gives it again to Briggs. And he gets the first down, which will briefly stop the clock with 4 seconds. Are you surprised that explosive offense like Utah State is running the ball here?
I guess they thought that they could break one of those runs and then work it from there. Briggs didn't break the first run, so they just ran it again, and now they're going to play to overtime.
That is zeros on the clock. 4 quarters done. We're headed to OT here at SD. We've got a 17-17 game, and so that means we're headed to overtime here in San Diego. A 17-point roll from Utah State erased by the Aztecs. Take a look at our OT rules. The winner of the coin toss will pick possession or the side of the field. They'll each start at the 25-yard line. Starting in the second overtime, you must attempt a 2-point conversion after a touchdown, and in the third overtime,
OT 2-point shootout.
We just battled 2-pointers.
You better have a bunch of 2-point plays ready to rock and roll.
Cal McNeil explaining at midfield. In year 2 of the stadium, this is the first ever overtime game in Snapdragon Stadium. You were here to see it.
San Diego State fans are hoping it's Snap the Magic Dragon Stadium tonight.
Okay. Well, we talked about at the top, Petros. 2 teams coming in at 3 and 5 with 4 games left to play, including today. You can see Utah State won the toss.
And will be offense and defense on that side? You're going to be offense.
Sometimes I'm really happy that the ref
That's
might's not
fantastic.
working.
Utah State has won the toss inside the
So fusion from Jed Fish about when and how many times you have to go for 2 and where. Overtime's an adventure in college football.
Aztecs have it first. Maiden taking a shot. Nicholson with his jersey being held, and a flag comes in. Joshua Nicholson's their best vertical threat, and that's the first time they've taken a shot to him tonight, and it pays off.
Yeah, pretty clear there. This time in the game, too, a lot of people don't realize because of fantasy football and video games, but these guys are tired. I mean, these guys are gassed, and having to play more in this situation is hard, and it stands to reason that there may be a little bit more grabbing out there on the edge. That's Harris there doing the grabbing. And he had the last name Nicholson all bunched up to where you couldn't read it. That'll draw the flag every time, although a long conference.
Pass interference, number 12.
Just for the mic not
Yards
to
from
work.
previous spot, automatic first down.
Just let you show off your lip reading skills. So first and goal now for San Diego State. Something to note, both teams have missed kicks tonight, too, should it come to that in this first OT. Keenan Kristen has had a really good game for the Aztecs. Maiden's going to follow him, and another flag comes in after a pickup of about 3.
Previous.
Well, it's a holding call. And that really hurts San Diego State. It's Harpole right here.
And so now it's first down and goal from the 20. This has been part of the story of the night for San Diego State. Maiden wants to get it out to Kristen. He does. He's got a block from Redmond, another block from Penny, and another flag comes in.
And it looks like they're going to get Penny on that one. 2 straight penalties on San Diego State. After the holding or the pass interference call. That time they got Mark Redmond instead of Penny out there on the edge with another holding call. So 2 plays in a row, 2 holding calls on 2 different tight ends.
Keenan Kristen is the leading receiver for the Aztecs today.
You see it on the right side of the screen there. Yeah, the back of the play that Switzer's holding on to.
First down and goal. From the 28. Maiden wide open. Penny. He's got it. And the Aztecs score first here in overtime.
Maiden does not miss the wide open guy to the left like he did to the right in regulation. Ike Larson late coming over. Looked like some confusion with the cornerback J.D. Drew, and who had Penny, who's had a spectacular night.
What a moment for his first career touchdown.
Huh. Couldn't get it in regulation, needed it in overtime.
Utah State's possession here in this first OT still coming. Browning for the point after, and it's good. So the offense, after multiple penalties, and now Browning trying to avoid another, pushing Drew Azzopardi out of the way. A 24-17 lead.
What a
How did
moment.
he get so open, Petros?
That looked like a mistake here. Like, here he is all the way out here, and you see he's one-on-one with J.D. Drew. Larson's going to have a hard time getting over there, and Drew just staring in the backfield. I'm not exactly sure what he saw there. He's looking at the backfield. He was looking at Martin Blake. The running back headed his way, and Penny just slides behind him. And here come the Aggies. They need a touchdown now.
Aggies at one point with a 10-point fourth quarter lead. Here's Laga, steps up. Laga gets brought down by the ankle. Fiaseu. He's been in the backfield a lot tonight.
Well, they've been flying around. Cooper McDonald with heavy pressure there, and Fiaseu comes in to clean it up. Look at Cooper McDonald, might have been held here on the edge by Frias. He flushes him out, and then really good job getting to the feet of Laga, who's trying to jump out by Fiaseu, who's made some great plays down the stretch in this game.
There goes Vaughn in motion. Lega, he wants to run, and he's able to leap forward, and he takes a huge hit. Fiaseu there up top. Moon got him down low, and it's now 3rd down and short. A gutty run from the quarterback.
Lega thought he was going to jump and come through that. Cody Moon had a different idea. 4-down territory now for the Aggies. They don't need it all right now.
Pick up the pressure. Lega taking a shot. Vaughn right into the basket. And Utah State answers. And an extra point coming to try and tie it.
Or will they go for 2 and just try to get out of Dodge? You know, they're a more explosive offense. There's no doubt about that. They're bringing out the kicker.
Remember, William Testa is not their normal kicker. He's the backup kicker. Elliot Nimrod, the starter, not available today.
He missed earlier.
On a field goal, he's been perfect on the extra points for the tie. Right down the middle. And we're going to a second overtime. So both offenses putting themselves behind the 8 ball in this OT, and both of them finding ways to score.
Lega gets sacked, comes right back with a physical run, jumps into the teeth, into the face of Fiaseu of the Aztec defense. And there you see again, it is that play where Vaughns comes around, losing the defender. Lega floats it up there for him, and man, it looked like that ball took 2 or 3 seconds to get to Vaughn, but beautifully designed play from Blake Anderson, and that's the 2nd time that that look has worked. Getting Terrell Vaughn on that kind of wheel route off the double setup.
Lega off the bench today has thrown for 162 in basically 2 quarters plus the overtime.
Now you got to go for 2.
By rule. Utah State now will start this second overtime on offense.
Utah State with the more explosive offense, but San Diego State with the more opportunistic defense.
Devon Booth is the running back. 4 wide for Lega. He'll check it down to Booth, and he gets popped but holds on. Cedarius Barfield came up, but a 5-yard pickup.
Well done by Barfield, not getting a targeting penalty in that situation. I mean, that's an opportunity to really clean a guy up, and I think because he didn't, he kind of held up. Booth was able to catch that ball and kind of recover himself as he sort of gingerly limps off.
And Robert Briggs comes in for him. San Diego State showing some pressure. They bring it. Briggs breaks through! A touchdown for Utah State on the first possession of the second overtime.
The kid out of Texas gashes him right down the middle. The Aztecs are gassed, having to come right back out on defense and defend this really speedy Utah State offense. And it pays off, and here is the 2-point try.
They've got Vaughn and Royals at the top. Micah Davis at the bottom. The back is Briggs, who just scored the touchdown. They'll give it to Vaughn. Vaughn looking to throw. Brock Lane wins the jump ball. And the Aggies convert.
What a play call. Like we said, you better have some nifty 2-point plays in your back pocket, and that is exactly what Blake Anderson has. A reverse pass. First the touchdown. Just pullers like they've been using all night long. A good lead block from the guy that just caught the 2-pointer, Brock Lane, as Briggs takes it in. And here you go, a good job kind of selling it from Terrell Vaughn throttling down and throwing that ball up. Young man feeling great. 5'7", a quiet guy playing loudly tonight. Terrell Vaughn with the touchdown pass or the two-point conversion pass.
Keenan Kristen will get the carry here. Steps through a tackle. MJ Tafisi holding on by the undershirt. Eventually brought him down, but a pickup of 4 yards.
Utah State's defense has had a second at least to kind of catch their breath.
Jalen Maiden has a career high 264 passing yards tonight for San Diego State. Here's Nicholson. Gets the block from Kristen, and he can't get away from Ike Larson, who's been a menace all night for the Aggie defense.
Best young player on the team. Ike Larson has been great on the fake field goal attempt, the fake punt attempt. Here he is in overtime, making a huge play where it looked like Nicholson was going to be able to gain that edge and pick up a block from Mark Redmond. He gets to the feet and ends that play, creating a third down for Jalen Maiden.
Here's Keenan Kristen dancing in the backfield, and he's wrapped up by Paul Fitzgerald, and it now comes down to this fourth down.
Nice play by the redshirt freshman who's been very productive this year. 4 sacks out of Idaho Falls. Makes a good play there, and this is for San Diego State's life in this football game. Got to say, Coach Anderson's got to be just thrilled with the way his quarterback, Cooper Lagat, came in after Hillstead went down and led this team.
Lucky Sutton is the running back. Maiden to throw. In the face of heat, and it's intercepted. Ike Larson in the second overtime ends it for the Aggies. Blake Anderson's team took a punch tonight, and the Aggies come on the road and pull it out.
They are shocked here in San Diego. This game looked to be a real defensive struggle early. Beautifully read by Larson, the safety. Maiden didn't see him. He only saw Nicholson versus the corner. And all he had to do was look deep. He had somebody deep because Larson bit on that short throw. And that is where Maiden threw it. And what a game by Ike Larson. What a recovery from Coach Anderson's team. And Cooper Lagat came into this game having lost his job, leads his team to a victory in overtime.
The first turnover of the game comes on the last play of the game. In 2 overtimes, Utah State improves to 2-3. San Diego State falls to 1-4 in league play. Air Force lost today to Army, but they still remain unbeaten in Mountain West action. Blake Anderson and Brady Hoke, a couple of teams coming off byes with physical performances, but Utah State gets the win, 32-24. Coming up, we'll send you back to Los Angeles for more college football coverage.